Hello, once again, I welcome you back to my YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to be focusing on how to register a domain name on or in AWS. But before we do this, we will need to understand some basic concept of domain. What are domains? What are domain names? And other information that are necessary for you to have the basic knowledge of a domain. So this is a kind of a high-level overview of domain, but our main effort is going to be on how to register a domain name in AWS. First, what is a domain? Now, let's assume, let's take our phone number for instance. You have your phone and you have a whole lot of contact on your phone number. Imagine that each time you want to make a call, you have to type every number one after the other to make or to call the person. You can see that can be very handful. So, but what you usually do is when you get someone's contact, you will go ahead to save the contact with a preferred name, such that whenever you want to dial the person's number, all you need to just pull up the name and you'll be able to dial the number. So a domain name is similar to that name that you have chosen to attach to a number. So in this case, let's assume you have a server, okay? Let's assume you have your server and your server has an IP, okay? Let's assume your server has an IP. Let the IP be, let's say, 41.2.3.5. For example, if this the IP address of your server. It is going to be very difficult, you agree with me, that if you want to give this number to your client, to your internet user, if you want them to access your server, you want them to access it through this number. So it is going to be a kind of difficult and not easy to remember for them to to dial this number every other time they want to access your website. So in that case, what you do is you decide to look for a number, or try to look for a name, a unique name that that can represent your company. For example, let's assume you call it my company. Let's assume you call it mycompany.com. Okay. So instead of a number, instead of a person dialing this number for the 1.2.3.5, instead you rather dial what? mycompany.com. And this mycompany.com will now be transferred to, or will now be connected to to this number. So in this case, this name becomes the domain name. Okay, this becomes the domain name. So in actual sense, a domain is essentially a human friendly address for a website on the internet. So instead of remembering a complex IP address like the one I just put on the screen, the person or the user in the domain name will just go ahead and type the name. Okay, so for example, instead of a user to type 8.8.8.8, which is the general DNS name for Google, the person can just go ahead and type what? Google.com. So Google.com is an equivalent representation for what? 8.8.8.8. So in this case, Google.com becomes the domain name. Now, having understand what a domain name is, this domain name is being managed by a domain register. Okay? This domain name is being managed by a domain registrar. So this domain registrar, they are the one that will keep all and every domain name that has been registered. And this is important to avoid conflict. So if, for example, a company A or a person A has chosen, let's assume in my own case now, maybe I have a company and I decide to give it my name. And I call the company Felix.com. For example, I call it Felix.com. Of course, I'm not the only Felix in the world. Let's assume another person also has in his own account, and what comes to his mind is to also call his own name of address as Felix.com. Then you will agree with me that there's going to be conflict, because if a user types Felix.com, the question will now be which of the Felix. So in this case, there has to be a kind of management that will handle this domain name so that the name can be unique, so that only one domain name can be used at a time. So this is the function, or this is where domain registrar comes in. So domain registrar manage domain names under what we call domain name system. Okay, the domain registrar manage manage all the domain names under the concept or a system called domain name system, which is otherwise known as what? DNS, which is the common one that you usually hear. So a domain name system is like a phone book. Okay, that is the best way I can describe it. It acts like an internet phone book that translates the IP address to what? To a user-friendly name. Okay, transfer the IP address to a user-friendly name. That is the name. That is the function of the DNS. This DNS is being managed by what? The domain registrar. And we have a lot of domain registrar. We have a whole lot of them. AWS Route. AWS is one of the domain registrar, and it manages its own under a service called Route 53, which we are going to be looking at today. So AWS Route 53, AWS is the registrar, the service is Route 53. We have a very popular one called GoDaddy. It's another domain registrar. We have another one called Hostinger. We have thousands and thousands of them. We have another one which I use. It's called AWS Registrar. We have Cheap Domain. We have a whole lot of them, okay? etc. We have a whole lot of domain register. Now, all these registrar, they are working in collaboration such that if a domain name has been purchased on AWS, for instance, if you go to GoDaddy and you want to purchase the same name, GoDaddy will let you know that this name has been purchased. That is, this domain name is no longer available, even though there are services that can be rendered to help you get that name, such that the domain register could decide to contact the owner of the domain and ask if they are ready to sell it, okay? And they can, negotiate and help you transfer it over. So, but like I said, if a name has been registered in, let's say, Hostinger, if you go to Ionos and you look for the same name, you're not going to find it. As we are going to see, I'm going to practicalize that for us to see. So you can choose any of these any of these domain name register to purchase your domain name. And one thing again is that domain name can be transferred. I can purchase a domain name on AWS, and I can decide to transfer it over. I can buy it here in AWS, and I can transfer it to GoDaddy to help me manage it. I can buy a domain name in Ustinga and decide to transfer it to what? To our owners to manage it. So domain name can also what? They are transferable. Now, let us understand another important concept, and that one is called the hierarchy. The hierarchy of domain, or we call it the hierarchical level. Okay, I'm going to explain what do we have in the hierarchy. What are the hierarchies of a domain name? The first one that we want to understand is called the root domain. I'm going to explain that to you. It's called the what? The root domain. Then after that, we have what we call the top level domain. Top level domain. Okay, after the top level domain, we have what is called the second level domain. Let me just write it as second. We call it what? Second level domain. And after that, we have the subdomain. Okay, so now let us understand each of these concepts. And for us to do that, I'm going to take an example. Let me take, for example, a domain name called, let's say, www dot, let me just say, my domain .com. Okay, mydomain.com. Now, this domain name, there is an invisible dot at the back here that the user don't usually see and don't usually write. So a complete domain name has a dot or a period at the back here. This period is part of the domain name, but usually you don't see it and we don't include it. That period is called the root domain. So this period here is called the root domain. Let me clean it so that you can understand what I'm talking about. So we have a root here. This one is called the what? The root domain. Okay? This is called the root domain. And after that, we have the .com. The .com is called the top level domain. Top level domain. And that could include other things like .org, .uk, .us, .click. All these are all top level domain. And after that, we have what? The my domain name. Okay, that's another one there. The what? My domain name. This one. Let me clean this so that you can understand. Okay, this is still W here. So this one here is called what? The second level domain. Why the W? Anything that comes after, anything that comes before the my domain is called the subdomain. It's called the what? Subdomain. Now let me clarify. Let me write them out here. So in this name, w dot, let's say, google.com. Like I said, there's another dot at the back here. So this first dot, okay, this first dot here is called, let me put here, this first dot here is called the what? The root domain. Okay, followed by .com. .com is called what? The top level domain. And after that, we have Google, which is the name. Google is the second level domain. And we have the last one, the www is the sub, is the what? I'm sorry. Is the what? Subdomain. Okay. So these are the hierarchy of the domain. And so when you have a full name like this, when you have a full domain name like what I have over there, www.google.com. This is called, the whole name is called fully qualified domain name, which is shortened as what? FQDN. So whenever you hear of FQDN, we are talking about what? A complete domain name, all the way from the subdomain to the second level domain to the top level domain and to the root domain. That is what is known as what? The fully qualified domain name, otherwise known as FQND. Okay, so having known what domain is, the hierarchy of the domain, and all the domain registers, we have mentioned a few of them. Another thing that is important for you to know about domain name is whenever you want to purchase a domain name from a domain registrar, what actually are you purchasing? Are you purchasing the fully qualified domain name? Yeah, the answer is not exactly yes, because what you're actually buying is the what? The second level domain and the top level domain. That is exactly what you are buying. So when you go to domain registrar, what you are going to buy inside the, for example, in the name www dot, let's say, google.com, okay, dot. What you are going to buy, what you are going to purchase from the domain name is actually this. This is what you are going to purchase. Because this one can change. You can change this to, you are the one that going to create this along with your name. So when you go to, let's say you go to GoDaddy, or you go to AWS 53, or you go to Stinger, and you want to purchase a name, this is what you are going to search for. So which is the combination of what? The combination of second level domain and the top level domain. That is what you are going to be purchasing from the domain register. And then quickly before we go, let us look at this other one that is called DNS records. We have a lot of DNS record. Okay, we have a lot of DNS record, and they are used for different purposes. We are going to see a couple of them, maybe just one or two of them. The most common one is the A record. We have what we call the A record, and we have what we call the C record, which is also called as C name. Okay, I'll just call it C name. Okay, there's also let me put that one here. There's also a name for A's. Okay, which is very similar to A record, but they are just different. The difference is that A is for IP version 4 addresses, while AAA is for IP version 6 addresses. CNAME. So let me quickly explain what it is. So whenever you have an IP address and you want to map, you have an IP address and you want to map that IP address to a domain name. Okay, you want to change an IP address to a domain name. What you need is an A record. Okay, if it is IP4, you need A record. If it is IP6, if it is IP version C, then you need AAA record. Okay, now, but if you want to map a domain name, if you want to map a domain name to another domain name, okay, you want to map a domain name to another domain name, then what you need is a CNAME. Okay, we also have what we call the TS record. We also have what we call the MS record, which is for message exchange. Okay, and this is for, I think, for timer also. But the most popular one that we use commonly are just the A record, the C record, and the AAA record, as the case may be. So this is just a brief overview of what domain is, domain name, domain register, the hierarchy, the domain name registrars, the basis concept, and also the record. So now, what we are going to be doing here in this video, we want to focus on how can you purchase a domain name in AWS. So the first thing is we will move to our AWS console. So this is my AWS console. And what am I going to do? Like I said in my explanation, the AWS service that manages domain name is called Route 53. Route 53 manages both the domain registration and even also the networking. So, but now, let us go to our Route 53. Yeah, if you don't have it, I already have it at the top here, but let me just go to the search bar and you're going to type Route 53. When you type Route 53, it's already here. Then you can open it in a new tab. Okay, let me close this. So this is my Route 53 service. Now, in Route 53, this is the dashboard. In your own case, if you don't have any domain name, then this is not going to what? This is not going to come up. But because I have an existing domain name here, that's why you have one domain name already. So now, if you want to see the number of domain names that are registered in your Route 53, then you go to the left hand here, you see registered domains. If you click on registered domain, you are going to see all the list of domain name that you have. So in this case now, I have a domain name called felixcloud.click. This is a domain name that I've registered. And now, this domain has records. Okay, this domain has what? Records. So this record, how can you get the record? So if you go ahead and click on the domain name, then you can see a lot of information. Verify your email to avoid domain exceptions. They want us now, in this case, now they want me to verify the email, to maybe to complete the registration, but that's okay. So now, if you look at name, what name do you have here? We have some other name here that we call NS name. Okay, name servers. Those are what here. That's part of the registration, and this is part of my information here. Now, for every domain name, there must be records, and those records can be found in AWS under what we call the hosted zone. So if you go to the left here and you click on hosted zone, you're going to see a few records that has been created. So if I click on the name, so you can see, let me collapse. You can see that there are records here. Let me delete these two because I don't really need them for now. I just created them to use. They are called, I created the C name and an A name for it. But in your own case, whenever you purchase a domain name, you are likely to see these two names here, the name server and the start of authority. This start of authority is the first name that is created, okay? And then we have different other names. If I want to create record now, if I click on create record and I click here, you can see we have a whole lot of other names. We have the A record, we have the AAA, we have the CNAME, and like I told you, for the A record, it's for IP version 4 address. The AAA record is for IP version 6. We have the CNAME, it's another domain name to to AWS and a whole lot like that. So now, how can I purchase a domain name? Now, before we go into purchasing a domain name, like I told you, whenever you want to purchase a domain name, you first have to go and confirm if this domain name is available. Okay, so now let's assume I want to buy a domain name now. I will come under domains. You can see on the left hand here, and I'll click on request. Okay, and I'll click on what? Request. Oh, sorry, that's not it. I'll go on Route 53. Okay, so it is here. I will click on what? Register domain names. Okay, I will click on register domain name. And now, in case of registering a domain name, I will come here and search for the name I intended to register. I will search for the name I intended to register. So you're going to search for for the name. And now, when you search for the name, different top level domain name come with different prices. And you'll be wondering in your mind, why are they different in prices? Why are the prices different? Does it mean a domain with higher price is going to be more efficient than the one with cheaper price? No, the answer is no. Now, the price or the cost of a domain name, which is determined by the top level domain. It is the top level domain, that is the .com, .org, .in, .ac, .io. All these are called the top level domain. They are the one that determine the cost of a domain. And what actually determine is because it depends on so many factors. One of it is the demand of the domain name. For example, a domain name like .com. .com is very common and almost everybody uses it. So it is in high demand, and so it is expected to be costlier or to be more expensive than a domain that is not in demand. But it does not mean that a domain name of let's say $100 is going to be more effective than the one of $10. No, it has to do with the name, with the demand, and the policy of the registry. So, for example, now let's assume I want to register a domain called my portfolio dot click. Okay, my portfolio. Now there are a lot of top domain names, so I have to choose the one I want. But I know that .click is very cheap, so I want to look for .click. I can actually type it directly up there, but I can just look for it. Domain name. Okay, look at it here. I think it's very cheap. So you can see .click is about just $3. So that is the one I'm looking for. So I can just select it here. Okay, since it's the name, I can just put it at the back here. My portfolio dot click, and I will go ahead and search for it. So it's searching for it now. You can see it is rolling, and it told me, look at the result. My portfolio dot click is not available. Okay, that means somebody must have purchased this domain. Okay, so I'm going to change it to another thing. Let me change it to Felix portfolio.click. I'm going to search that again, and you can see it now. I say what? Exact match. That's exactly what I want. It's been found. Okay, now before we go ahead to register this domain, now let me show you what I said, that if one domain has been registered on one platform, then it cannot be registered on another platform. For example, now if I go back to my Route 53 and I go to my registered domain, see that I've registered this domain called felixcloud.click. I'm going to copy it. Let's assume somebody has gone over to let's see another domain name. Let's see if someone has gone to let's say GoDaddy. I have a GoDaddy account here. Let's assume somebody has gone to GoDaddy now and want to buy the same name. I'm going to put it there. Okay, sorry, this is felixcloud.click. Okay. Now this is the name of the domain. Let's assume I now search for it. Let us see what the result is. Okay, you can see the result. Look at it. Domain taken. Look at it here. Domain what? Taken. So it's telling me that this domain name, felixcloud.click, has been taken. But look at something on that. It said we might be able to help you get it. So what will happen now is these people, they will liaise, they will contact me and tell me, okay, somebody want to buy your domain name, maybe for $99. Maybe they are going to this is their own brokerage service. So you're going to pay them this amount, and they're going to contact me and try to lobby me. Maybe I'm ready to sell it, and they will bargain. If it's okay, then I will release it. They will buy it and resell to that person that needs it. So let's assume somebody want to buy it. Let's assume somebody else did not go to GoDaddy. Let's assume someone goes to another. I think I have an Ostinger account. Let's see. Okay, now this is my Ostinger account. Let's assume somebody want to buy the same domain name, and the person come to Ostinger. This is Ostinger platform, and the person look at on the hand, say get a domain name. Click on get domain, and let's assume that person type felixcloud.click and wanted to look for it. You search for it. You can see it says felix.click is already taken. Now, this is because this domain registrar, they are working hand in hand to avoid duplicate of domain name. So they are saying now that felixcloud is taken, but felixcloud.com is available, and it's available at this price. If the person wants it, the person will go ahead and buy it. So you can do the same too on our UNOS. There's another good domain registrar that I also maintain. So what I'm saying in essence is that a domain name is always unique to avoid conflict in the internet and in the networking process. Now let's return back to our domain name, our AWS console, and try to register that name. So I'm going to go ahead. Let me take that name because I like it. I want to take it before anybody takes it. So this is what do I call it? Felix portfolio.click. It's already here. So that is what I want to buy. So I'll search for it. I have the exact. So now that I find the exact thing, I will scroll down. Okay. And if I want it, look at it here. I will click on select. Since I want it and I like it, I will click on select. And after I click on select, you can see it here. I can go ahead with what? Proceed to checkout. Now, if I proceed to checkout, it's giving me the pricing. It's telling me for 1 year I'm going to be paying $3, and that is okay. Now look at a checkpoint here for auto renewal. Okay, I don't want to forget. I don't want them to disable my. I don't want them to disable my domain name. So I put it on auto renewal. So after every year, the domain name will be renewed. So I will go ahead and click next, and it's going to ask me for my what? For my contact information. So I'm going to put my contact information. I'm buying it for a person. My name is this. This is the same email, and that is my phone number, and that is my email address. And so I'm going to go ahead. Now, I already have my billing information here. Okay, I have my billing information here. Now, if you don't have your billing information on your account, it's likely to ask you to provide your credit card or your debit card. And then you're going to put all those information, and you're going to click on next, and it will show you the total. It shows me the total of the pricing to review. Then I want to check the name of the registration again. This is the name. If I zoom out for you to see it, this is the name. Okay, I must confirm that this is what I want. Felix portfolio.click. And if everything is okay and I like it, I'll go ahead. I'll check the address. I'll go ahead and click on what? Submit. Okay, sorry, there's a point here that I need to accept. So I will accept this and I will click on submit. And the registration process will begin. And if you read what it says, it says the request to register the following domain is in progress. You will receive a registration status email for each domain. So if you check domain now, you will see it's going to be in progress. You can see it is in progress. All right. And this is going to take a couple of time. take between 5 to 30 minutes. Some say it can take up to 48 hours, but in my experience, it has never been up to that. So what is happening now is I'm going to pause this video, and when the domain registration is completed, we'll go ahead and complete it. However, I think they're going to send us an email. Okay, they're going to send us an email telling us that the domain has been registered, and in that domain, in that name, we are going to confirm it. So, but for now, I'm going to pause the video, and when the registration is complete, I will come back. So I will see you in a few minutes. Okay, there's something important I think I should show you. Now, I registered this one a couple of days ago, and this email was sent to me to verify this email. That if this email is not verified, immediately after registration, after 15 days, this domain name will be suspended. So I have to verify that and confirm the email that I use in this account. So if I go to my email, most of the time it doesn't go into the inbox, it goes into the spam email. So you can see this is my inbox, it's not in my inbox, but I just check my spam email now. This is my spam email, and I found out, okay, you can see that is the one I sent, I just requested, and this is the new one that I'm registering. So if I click on it, you can see what they are saying, and it should go back to what is it saying. It says you use what? Use the link. Choose the link in the email sent to this from this. So this is the email. I'll just click on this link to verify. I'll click on this link to verify. Okay, my email. Let me copy it. I'll copy it to another link as I cannot, and I'll just click on it. So it said thank you what? You should look at it. You should look at the action. You can see thank you for validating the email this and contact this. No further action is required. So I'll go back to my Route 53 now, and I will refresh this. Let us see what I'm going to get. So if I refresh, let us see if that will go away. So you can see reachability verified. So now I have the full control of my domain name. Don't forget, this is the old one. So the same thing is going to be applicable to the new one if the registration is complete. So let's go back to the registration. Let us see domain registrar. That one is not here yet. Let's go to the dashboard. Let us see if it's still ongoing. So to domain is here. Let us see what is going on. Okay. So it looks like we have the other one too. So it's like it's ready. Let me click on it. Okay, so that is also ready. So the domain name is what? Ready. So if I go to register domain, let us see. Oh, so only one is still showing. So let's give it some time. But it looks like it's in progress. Let's see dashboard. Yeah, it's in hosted soon too. One check name. Let's see. Domain. Only one domain is still here. So let's see. Let's give it some time. Register domain. Okay, only one is still here. Now, I'm just going to go to my, since I got an email too from the other one, look at the second email too in the spam. Look at the second email for the new one that I just registered. So I'm going to do the same. I'm going to copy, and I'm going to also verify for that one. I'll click OK, and also that one is also verified, as you can see it here. Okay, so let's see what we have. R53. I refresh, and the domain is still not here. So I'll still pause and come back after a few minutes. Okay, the registration is still in progress. As you can see it from here. If I zoom out, you can see it. Registration is still in process. This is the other one, but I just got an email now, and I think it's important for you to see it. So in the process, I also got an email that come into my is it the one that come into my inbox? Oh, where did it go? Let's see it. Okay, so I got this email there. You can see it from Amazon F53. I just got it a few seconds ago. So I click on it. Let me see. It said there, your email this has successfully been verified for domain registration. No further action is needed. I think this is just a response to the email I sent earlier. So let's still hang on and see what happened. I will go back to my Route 53. I will refresh. It's still in progress, so I'm going to pause the video. I will come back when it is completed. Okay, now the registration is completed, and you can see it is a domain registration successful. So if I go back to my registered domain and I click on the new registration, which is a portfolio click, and let me show you something here before I go ahead. Look at this under transfer lock. It is off. If I turn it on, what it actually means is that this domain cannot be transferred. This domain cannot be transferred from AWS to any other registrar. Well, now it is off, meaning that if I choose to move it to any other registrar, I can decide to move it to GoDaddy, even though I bought it in domain registrar. I can decide to move it to GoDaddy or Stinger or any other registry. That is what this off is saying here. And of course, auto renew. You know what the auto renew is, meaning that when it expires after a year, AWS will automatically renew it. So if I click here on the information, you can see a lot of information there, and the reachability is verified. Another thing that is important that we can see here is if we go to our posted zone, you will see that automatically 2 record has been created. If I click on this one, 2 record has been created. You can see we have the name server and we have the start of authority that has been created. So this is how to purchase a domain name in AWS. So this domain name now belongs to me, and no any other person can purchase it until if I say I don't want it again and I release it, it expires and I did not renew and I release it back to our AWS platform. So I believe you enjoyed this or you have learned 1 or 2 things in this video. Please don't forget to learn and subscribe to the channel so that you can get notification when new videos are uploaded. I hope you enjoyed this video. In the next one, I'm going to explain how we can request an SSL certificate, a public SSL certificate, to secure this domain name whenever it is used on our server, on our website. So I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.